Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Now listen, just stick with me on this video because I'm drawing a comparison between Anthony Joshua and how he does not want to end up like Ivan Barynchyk. That would explain why Anthony Joshua has tried to evolve his style from being what he would call a bruiser to being a boxer who floats like a butterfly and on occasion will try to sting like a bee. Even though we know Anthony Joshua shouldn't be out here trying to float around the ring and outbox anybody because his strength is being the bruiser he once was, who was just basically a big Ivan Barynchyk. The problem is, Ivan Barynchyk never really evolved his style, and unfortunately, he started getting himself in some knockouts, getting knocked out and losing fights against top level opponent. Something similar like Anthony Joshua. But the thing with Joshua is he's trying to make the changes now. Barynchyk never did. Now, the thing about Barynchyk, okay, he's from Belarus. And let me tell y'all something. When he first turned pro, in his first, I'd say 18 fights, he went 18-0. And when I say he was destroying guys in the ring. I remember first watching this guy Barynchyk fight, saying to myself, there's no one who's going to beat him. That's just how vicious he was in the ring. An absolute menace. But unfortunately for him, things kind of went left. Kind of similar like Anthony Joshua when he went up against, what's his name, Andy Ruiz, still being the bruiser, coming forward, letting the big shots go, got tattooed up a little bit, and the rest was history. Ivan Barynchyk kind of got the wake-up call himself. But the thing is with Barynchyk, he ended up entering, because of his record, because of his style, very fan-pleasing, and he had the whole boxing world on notice in the 140-pound division. He ended up entering Season 2 of the World Boxing Super Series. And in that opening round matchup, he ended up defeating a name that you guys may know, Anthony Yiggett. He was able to get him out of there in the 7th round. The corner just didn't want to let the guy back out. That's where he ended up winning the vacant IBF light welterweight title. But they didn't let him back out because Barynchyk is just a madman. It's like he fights like he's possessed. So anyway, he picks up the IBF lightweight title. Then he goes on in the semifinal and faced Josh Taylor. And this is where, Josh Taylor, especially at that time, was able to outbox him and just avoid the big shots and do the business. But anyway, Barynchyk ended up rebounding from his loss against Taylor and got a 4th round TKO against Gabriel Bracero. Now, the thing about this, right, that KO, what I think that did to Barynchyk is I think it gave him a kind of newfound confidence because he was working with Pedro Diaz. You don't know who Pedro Diaz is. Remember, he was the guy who started training Miguel Cotto after Miguel Cotto and his uncle, Evangelista Cotto, split. But anyway, he has this very aggressive style, and Pedro Diaz didn't seem to try to evolve it to turning him into a boxer, kind of like what Anthony Joshua tried to do after the Andy Ruiz fight. He goes on to fight Zepeda. Now, everybody should know who Zepeda is because Zepeda's still out here Jose Zepeda's still out here getting busy at 140 pounds. But Barynchyk went on, ended up losing his next 2 bouts where he fought Zepeda, and he got knocked out in the 5th round. But they were going back and forth. Matter of fact, if you want to see an entertaining fight, go look at Jose Zepeda versus Ivan Barynchyk, and you're going to see something amazing. I'm talking, if you like the Gotti Ward series, you'll love this shootout between Barynchyk and Zepeda. Very, very, violent and entertaining. After Zepeda, he goes on to fight, what's his name, Montana Love, and just got outboxed. But Barynchyk never evolved his style. So what ended up happening with a guy like Barynchyk is he sits at 20 wins, 13 of those wins by KO. He had 3 losses, two of them by KO. And his last fight was 2021, August 29th, against Montana Love. Here we are in 2023. So it makes you wonder, what happened to Baryncyk's career? Well, I'm going to tell you. That Jose Zepeda fight took something out of him. And then losing that, being forced to retire on his stool in the 7th round against Montana Love, that does something to his confidence. So I'm not sure when he's going to return to the ring. But when I look at Barynchyk and what he became known for was being big, strong, powerful, and just basically outwilling, outgutting, and outgunfiring his opponents, kind of like Anthony Joshua. Now, Barynchyk did have some skill, but for the most part, he would throw that out the window and just go toe-to-toe because he knew the kind of power that he was bringing to the ring, especially at that 140-pound weight division. And every one of his opponents, even the ones he lost to, there was always a chance that he'd be able to knock him out. And when he hit them, they felt it. And you see it in that Jose Zepeda fight. But the problem is, when he started to get hit, he couldn't really handle those shots. And that's the problem. Kind of like Anthony Joshua. Almost the exact same approach to fighting before Andy Ruiz. He'll sit there. He had skills. Don't get me wrong. Anthony Joshua was a very skilled fighter. But he would throw that out the window and he would go toe-to-toe because he just basically knew he'd just outpower his opponents. But then he didn't. But when the stuff started coming back at AJ, you saw that his chin couldn't hold up. Same thing with Barynchyk. The chin just couldn't hold up. So I think with Anthony Joshua and him trying to evolve his style and working with Derrick James, maybe Barynchyk should have done something similar. But the problem is this. Anthony Joshua trying to evolve his style to being more of a boxer-puncher, that takes away from his strength. His strength is being a lion in the ring. Look, the boxing ring is a jungle. You know damn pussycats in the jungle. If you're a lion, get in there and make noise. But for that reason, I truly believe that Anthony Joshua, going forward, is going to end up still getting knocked out the same way he'd probably get knocked out if he would have never tried to evolve his style. But I still think Anthony Joshua has a better chance of getting a win if he fights like the lion he once was, same way Barynchyk continued to fight up until his last fight in August 29th of 2021. He would have more success just being the lion, not sitting here trying to be cute. But that being said, Barynchyk, he did it his way. I don't know what's going to happen with him going forward. But Anthony Joshua is, it's almost identical as far as the professional career and how they approach matches. All the skilled amateur pedigree guys could fight, but they like to get in a gunfight. The major discernment here is Joshua has made an effort to box and to not get hit as much. Barynchyk didn't. However, I think with Anthony Joshua and the change that he's making, he could still end up like Barynchyk because he's overthinking, he's not committing, and he doesn't seem comfortable in the ring. You see, when you got a guy like AJ and a guy like Barynchyk, forget the weight divisions. It's what's inside them. What's inside them are to be monsters, to be beasts, to destroy opponents. What's inside them is not to sit there and play cute in the ring. And I honestly think Barynchyk, he needs to keep fighting the way he fights. Because if he starts to try to evolve his style and do something that he hasn't done before, he can find himself getting in even more trouble. You understand? He can find himself getting in even more trouble. Who was that I was watching that was boxing and doing great, but as soon as he got hit, he went right back to slugging? Someone who it was just in him to fight. we know Arturo Gatti against Mickey Ward. That's a good example where Buddy McGregor wanted him to box, but he started boxing, but then he went to fighting and brawling and gave Ward opportunities to hurt him and bang him to the body. But as of recent, there's another fighter. I'm trying to think of who that was. That was boxing really good, but ended up getting hit, and he just started fighting. And I remember it was like, okay, here we go. It was, what's his name? That's it, Figueroa. It was Omar Figueroa, the one who retired, the one who was throwing up blood. Him, he was in there trying to box, but as soon as he got touched up, he just started slugging. And Tim Bradley's another good example of him and Providnikov. Get in the ring, be sticking to boxing, but he started to let his hands fly, and he got banged up really good in that fight. But that being said, Anthony Joshua, he doesn't want to end up like Ivan Barynchyk, getting knocked out and taking any more losses to different opponents. Okay, we know he lost to Ruiz. He got that win back. He went and fought Usyk, lost twice. He's not trying to come out here to lose to anyone else. And he's trying to figure it out right now, which is a good thing. But I just think for him, it's disrupting what he does naturally. His punches don't flow. And I just think with him, the fact they're trying to make that Joshua and Deontay Wilder fight, I just think that's a recipe for disaster for AJ. That being said, y'all keep cool. Anthony Joshua doesn't want to end up like Ivan Barynchyk. Promising pro career, doesn't evolve his style. Just wants to go and just kind of just destroy people, but doesn't have the chin to hold up when he fights the elite. Anthony Joshua is the exact same. The only thing is Joshua decided to tweak his style, which kind of extended his career a little bit longer. But we're going to see if that style holds up, because I'm going to tell y'all right now, for Anthony Joshua, if being a boxer puncher doesn't work out for him, what's he do next? Because being a bruiser, that's not working for him. Being a boxer puncher doesn't work for him. He has no other options. And then in that case, he's going to end up just like Ivan Barynchyk. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. I'm in the breeze.